As we enter Indonesian waters, we are greeted by a pod of dolphins. We will clear into Indonesia at Nunukan, a small town in northeast Borneo, just south of the Malaysian border. This might look like floating trash, but it's not. This is a pearl farm, right outside Nunukan. The locals here reuse water bottles as floats for their lines. Each time we arrive to a new country, we must go through the clearance process. This includes meeting with immigration, customs, and quarantine. It's not long after we arrive that the cockpit is crowded with officials, checking our boat, passports, and just having fun taking pictures as they process our clearance.
Offer you some coffee? I have just this kind right now.
Whenever we have guests aboard, especially officials from the government, we make sure to offer a warm welcome and a hot cup of coffee or tea. These folks hold the key to our entrance into the country.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. My name is Sarah. Sarah. I'm Mota.
We have coffee, tea, coffee. Okay. All right. So we need the paperwork.
Hello.
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. Okay.
So many, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
This
Here.
time
The officials here in Nunukan have this process down to a science. Everything is well organized, and clearance is complete in about 30 minutes. That's a new record for check-in.
Right here.
Snapping pictures, and lots of them, is a huge part of the Indonesian culture. It's fun to see all the officials smiling and posing for their selfies. This aspect of our check-in is unique only to our Indonesia clearance. We haven't had this happen in any other country so far. As quickly as the officials came on board, they gathered up their paperwork, hopped back onto their customs boat, and sped away.
We are finished with everything, and then we have to go back to customs and we have to go back to customs so that we can do some more final paperwork. But otherwise, we have checked into Indonesia, so it's pretty good. We got it done pretty quick. They're super nice people, very helpful. Just lots of people, but that's okay. All good. We're done. Welcome to Indonesia. Let's rock and roll. And I just received via FedEx from the U.S. a new membrane for our water maker. We've had our current membrane, it's a SeaRecovery. We've had our current membrane now for just over 7 years. We've had no issues with it, except for about 6 months ago, our pressure started to get really high. I knew our membrane was starting to get fouled a little bit. Did some cleaning on it, and with the chemicals from SeaRecovery, and we ended up going from roughly 400 to 500 ppm all the way up to 700 and 750 ppm, which is a bit high. ppm is parts per million, so it's a way to measure the water purity. Rainwater we have measured here is about 0.008 ppm, so 8 parts per million. The World Health Organization says safe drinking water is less than 1,000 ppm. We're at 750, so we're still in the safe range. However, the lower the ppm, the better, I'm sure, for the body and everything else. So we're going to be going through and getting this thing replaced with the new membrane, and hopefully get our parts per million down to 200. So we're going to give it a go and get to show you what it's like to service a membrane on a water maker. It's a SeaRecovery 25 gallon per hour water maker, and that's what I'm up to this morning. We'll see if we can get the kids roped in to help out. So I'm going to jump down here into the starboard aft locker, which is where our water maker is located, and just show you the setup that we have. And this is in our water maker not hellhole, but our water maker spot. This is our SeaRecovery water maker right here. We've got this is called the ETD, which is the energy transfer device. So it's a mechanism that SeaRecovery has that allows us to be able to use a lower horsepower water pump to get more pressure on the outside of this to go through the big membrane, which is here. So we have the big membrane. We'll take it apart and then we will get it serviced and then put back together. So it should be maybe an hour or two of work to get these fittings off and get things kind of taken out and sorted out. We'll see how it goes. But that's what it looks like here in our locker and field trip. Now with the bolts off, I should be able to just lift this off gently and pull it out. It's heavy. Good Lord. Mercy. That's it, and the membrane. So while I'm out here doing the water maker and getting the membrane housing out and getting this new membrane put in, let's go see what Michael is up to on the inside, and Sarah. They are inside. Oh my word.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Michael?
It always looks
Sarah?
worse before it gets better. We are going through all of our snacks and all of our chips and provisions and nuts and stuff because we go through this stuff like crazy. It's what we use for happy hour snacks, and when people come over just to hang out, we have some out. And then we also use it, it's a lot of our sailing snacks. We always want chips and salty stuff when we sail.
And marshmallows!
Marshmallows.
Yeah, and we discovered some marshmallows. So
Oh,
you never
good.
know what you're going to find.
And Michael, what do you have down here? You said you wanted to show me something. What is that exactly?
So, in here, I am doing the logging, all of our stuff. But I just organized all the chips with the Pringles and like canned stuff right here and all these are tortilla chips. And then, right now I'm sitting on this piece of wood.
Okay.
And over under there
Somewhere down there in the deep, dark.
is all the like not tortilla chips. They're all
Okay.
like the salted sea salt vinegar
Okay.
and all that stuff. And so they all fit perfectly in there. There are like 11 bags and they all fit perfect.
Okay, good. So we're stocked up for some
We're
serious
very
sailing, huh?
stocked
To
up.
Palau. Eventually to Palau. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Michael, for your hard work. All right, we've got the membrane out, and now I'm going to pull off these end caps that are here. We've got the end caps here. Three Allen-headed bolts on each side, that side and the other side to come off. And once that comes off, we should be able to pull the membrane out and give it a look and put the new one in. That's what we're going to do right now. All right, so this is the membrane now, the old membrane. This thing coming off, coming out. See that? Okay, and here's the actual element out. This is the old one. And you can give it a look here in the light. Kind of see the gunk that's in the membrane. The water comes through here, high pressure, and then the membrane, the fresh water comes out on the outside of this membrane. So that's how that works. And it's pretty grody in there, but it's 7 years old, 7.5 years old. So it's overall held up pretty well, given how old it is. That's what the old one looks like. It's a Cycron Quality Filtration SeaRecovery RO. That's what it is, Cycron Corp. This is the new one. It's Applied Membranes Inc. RO membrane, and it is made in California. And this is how we slide it in. It's a pretty simple setup. This thing just slides straight in like this, like that. We'll push it in and get it seated in the right spot, and then get it put back together. So far, so good. We've got the membrane now put back together. To give you an idea of how big it is, you can see it's pretty tall. It's a 4-foot membrane, about a meter and a quarter, whatever. And this is the membrane that goes back down into here somehow, some way. get this thing put back in here. Okay. Now, well, it's hotter than hot in here. We've got everything installed, so now is the big moment of truth. Hopefully nothing will go boom as far as exploding with the high pressure fittings, and we'll get good water out. We're supposed to run the water maker for 2 hours making water to flush out the membrane and all the chemicals they've had to preserve it. So I'll do that. So I've got it rigged up over here with a discharge going overboard. We'll let this water maker run and see how things turn out. So first things first is to get things going. They call it a water testing, turbidity testing, or a TDS meter. This is a TDS 3. If you don't have one on your boat, definitely get one. It's very important to be testing your water. Keep track of what's going on with the water maker. Now we'll check the water coming out of the actual water maker and see what we have over here. Hopefully it'll be a lot better than 700 and something, but may need to run for a couple of hours to really flush out all the chemicals that are in there. But we'll give it a go right now and see what we've got. It's so hot out. Good night, it's hot. So here's the setup. This is our discharge going overboard for now. Put it in the cup. Very first test of our new membrane on field trip. Hold our breath. Turn our guy on. Stick it in the water. And we are at 367, 370. So I wouldn't call that super low. I was hoping for 200 and something, so we'll keep it running for a bit and see, but let's just do one more test. The longer we run it to get the other chemicals out of it, the better. It says 2 hours of continuous discharge. So we'll keep a tab on it. Let's try it one more time. We are at 350, 350. So I wouldn't call that super low. It's not 200, but it's definitely in the drinking range. So that's what we've got so far. We'll let it run and give it a test in 2 more hours.
After Mark fixed the water maker, we were invited ashore for a welcoming party, sponsored by the local Nunakan government. We sampled local food, enjoyed traditional dancing, and shared lots of laughs with our rally family. It was a warm welcome, and it was clear to see all the efforts that the people of Nunakan had made to be magnificent hosts. We thoroughly enjoyed our evening in this remote location in northeast Borneo. But it's time to move on again and sail to a beautiful atoll, where we'll do some diving, rescue a sailboat that runs onto the reef, and zip around on motorbikes.